team like Kyrie and KD, or the Lake Show with King James and AD. Wish I could match him up with the bad boys from the 80s, but no black and white, I need that in HD. HenDawgz.
Yo, what's good, y'all? It's your boy HenDawgz, and we back to it. You know how we do it. Russell Westbrook's friend just warned us. I don't know what he's gonna warn us about, but I hope he warned us that Russell Westbrook is about to have a breakout year. But before we get into this video, make sure y'all subscribe to the channel. We're on the way to 10K. So go ahead and like this video. If you like this video, go ahead and write something in the comments. Let me know how y'all feel about Westbrook, man. Like, I ain't gonna lie, I was one of those people who was, having the fun and, always calling him Westbrook and this and that, but I want Westbrook to do good this next year, man. This upcoming season, I would love for him to bounce back and just shut up all the haters, because it's kind of funny, to talk about it here and there, but at the end of the day, some of that shit get old. Like, it ain't even that funny no more to be calling him Westbrook and to be laughing when he, shooting off the side of the backboard and all that. But at the end of the day, Westbrook, you gotta perform, bro. If you perform, none of that stuff will happen. So let's get into this video. I really have no idea what it's about to be about, but that's the whole point of reacting to it. So let's get into it. We got Russell Westbrook's friend just warned us. Let's get it.
I knew something was up when Russ didn't talk to LeBron at Summer League. I mean, obviously there are issues. But then one of the people closest to Russ, shockingly, gave ESPN a warning. I've seen a lot of unnamed sources, but for a person to say this with their name attached is wild. It tells us how delusional Russ actually is and why no one can get through to him. I am now convinced Russell Westbrook will be traded. So I want to show you guys this quote and then explain what it means for Russ as he heads toward one of the saddest endings of any Hall of Fame player. Last week, Woj dropped a tweet that Russell Westbrook broke up with his agent, Thad Fouché, after 14 years. It's one of those things that, feels important when you see it on your phone, but you're not exactly sure why. There's definitely a bigger story here. I mean, Russ has obviously been really unhappy since he got to the Lakers. He's probably embarrassed by how he played, being in trade rumors. He's obviously beefing with LeBron, who wants to trade for Kyrie Irving. Then I read what the agent said to ESPN, and I was shocked. My belief is that a trade will diminish Russell's value, and his best option is to stay with the Lakers, embrace the starting role and support that Darvin Ham publicly offered. Unfortunately, irreconcilable differences exist as to his best pathway forward, and we are no longer working together.
Oh, okay. So basically, they kind of parted ways because the agent wanted him to stay with the Lakers, and it kind of sounded like Russ don't want to stay with the Lakers. But this is all just could be rumors. None of this is actually, coming out of Westbrook's mouth, so we don't really know. But that would kind of make sense to, fire your agent if y'all don't agree on the same stuff. Like, if he's not going to work as hard as you think he's going to work towards what you want, then you got to find somebody that will. So, I mean, it kind of is what it is. But I personally, as a Laker fan, as a diehard Laker fan, if we got to give him up for Kyrie, then peace out, Russ. But other than that, I don't really want no other point guard besides Westbrook. I mean, don't get me wrong, he had a terrible season last year, but I think he can be a really good point guard for us. So if it's not Kyrie, it need to be Westbrook. I'm not trying to get Eric Bledsoe or I don't know any of these other little guards out here that's gonna play better than Westbrook. We're gonna probably need some shooters out there though to kind of come in and sub in for Westbrook. But I like Westbrook, man. I don't want to get rid of Westbrook. Unless we have to.
Exist as to his best pathway forward, and we are no longer working together. Translation, I told Russ to stay, but Russ wants to leave, and we got in such a big fight that he fired me. And I will get to the Russ AD LeBron phone call in a second, but Russ looks like he wants to stay. He was the only guy who called the new rookie Max Christie. He was the only guy to show up to Darvin Ham's introduction, but then I remembered what Darvin Ham actually said, and it all made sense.
I'm going to approach him like I do every player I've ever encountered. We're going to talk about our running habits with the ball, without the ball. Defensively is where you're going to see us make our biggest leaps and bounds.
Has there been any discussion among you guys about maybe a change of role for him, maybe coming off the bench?
Yeah, I would say yes. Russ and I have had some really, really great one-on-one combos, man. And the biggest word, I think, sacrifice. That was the biggest word. It was sacrifice.
Yes! The best
It looked like Russ didn't like that, but I didn't react to it. I just watched All the Smoke. Darvin Ham was on there. And he spoke very highly of Russ. He was saying that him and Russ have talked a lot. They went out to dinner a lot. So I don't think Russ is going nowhere. Like, I really don't. Like, if somehow possible we can get Kyrie and keep Russell Westbrook, I will be the happiest Laker fan ever. Because I'm not one of them Laker fans that want to get rid of him. Like, I definitely feel like we don't need him to try to be the OKC Westbrook. Like, we don't need him to go out there and try to average a triple-double. Like, that's not what we need. We can take 16, 5, and 5 from Russ. I'm fine with that. I guess that's where that sacrifice comes in. Like, if he's able to sacrifice and be half of what he used to do, we good with that. So, hopefully you listen to this, Westbrook.
Hide his smile after Darvin Ham said sacrifice.
Sacrifice. That was the biggest word. It was sacrifice.
So it is pretty damn clear that Russ does not want to change. He doesn't want to be a defense-first point guard who plays off the ball. His agent thought that Ham was throwing him a lifeline by giving Russ a starting role, and he should take it. Rehab your image, then earn that next contract after the season's over. But that's not what Russ wants, so they parted ways. And yeah, LeBron's camp leaked that he, Russ, and AD got on a call to make the season work. First of all, you can't even FaceTime? Second of all, that was the most transparent damage control ever after how bad it looked at Summer League. So when will they trade Russ? Well, the Nets want at least a 2027 or 2029 first-round pick to take him. That would probably work with the Spurs taking Russ into their cap space because obviously he's not going to work with Kevin Durant. Why won't they do that? LA added Lonnie Walker, Troy Brown, Damian Jones, Juan Toscano-Anderson, Thomas Bryant, and Max Christie. Definitely younger, but no one outside of Brown shot above league average from three. The Lakers need shooting. Kyrie is elite. I know that he's, disconnected from reality, but so is Russ. He has no idea that he's out of his prime. Dude thinks LeBron and AD were the problem last year. He blamed them in his last press conference. And I don't want to put this entirely on Russ. I mean, yeah, LeBron can be hard to play with. Kyrie couldn't stand him, so he left. Even easy guys like Kevin Love and Chris Bosh had issues. But at least LeBron is still great at basketball. Russ is not. And the only option outside of trading him is sending him home. The Rockets did this with John Wall. They paid him like $40 million to not play. Then Russ's agent broke down exactly where his career will go next. The marketplace is telling the Lakers they must add additional value with Russell in any trade scenario. And even then, such a trade may require Russell to immediately move on from the new team via buyout.
So I think Westbrook will have to make a decision. He got, like they say, he got that lifeline. Darvin Ham is going to work with him. He's going to try to figure it out. He's going to give him that lesser of a role to try to compete and try to be a part of a winning championship team. Or he's going to have to go to like Sacramento, or he's going to have to go to a scrub type team and try to be the man. But even then, I still don't think Westbrook can be the man nowhere. Like he said, he's a little past his prime. Like, I don't think Westbrook can go out there and average 30 no more. Like, he's not that good of a jump shooter. His athleticism is only going downward. So I think his best situation is not because I'm a Laker fan, but I think his best situation is just to sacrifice and be a role player for this Lakers team. But let me know what y'all think about that.
If the Spurs or the Nets or whatever bought Russ out, he would then have to find another team. And who really wants a 34-year-old Russ to drag them to the play-in? That's what happened in D.C. The Wizards got the 8th seed and got beat in the first round by the Sixers. NBA teams don't want that. They either want to tank for Wembanyama or try to win a championship. What Russ wants is to get out of the Lakers to a team that he can take over like the Wizards. He wants to prove to everyone that he can still dominate in a system designed for him. Sacrifice. So if Russ does get bought out, like his agent says, who would take it? Well, you have to start with the New York Knicks. They are technically in win now mode, even though they don't have a superstar. Julius Randle is not going to drag them to the first round. But getting Jalen Brunson makes it complicated. They sold Brunson on like a big role.
Give me
and
Brunson
having the
over
ball in
Westbrook.
Russ's hands would be like playing with Luka all over again. So the next team is the Wizards. There's a rumor that they might try to get Kevin Durant, but if they can't, their only point guard is Johnny Davis, who's a rookie, and there's probably still some good feelings from when Russ was there. Russ knows how to play with Bradley Beal, and Kristaps Porzingis can stretch the floor, which works with Russ's style. What about the Warriors? If Russ was willing to come off the bench, there is no better way to rehab your image than winning. Golden State could use some ball handling off the bench too. But if this all happens and Russ gets bought out, he may never play in the NBA again. I know that sounds crazy, but this dude has made plenty of money, and he wants things his way. I mean, when Allen Iverson was past his prime, he chose to retire instead of coming off the bench for Memphis. Is it impossible for Russ to go out the same way if no one picks him up?
No.
Now, there is one other option for Russ that not enough people are talking about. After the DeAndre Ayton deal went down, it was clear who still had cap space. The Spurs and the Pacers. LA seems to be unwilling to take Kyrie's baggage, so what if they got a different player? Malcolm Brogdon would have been perfect, but obviously now he's a Celtic. But there is one other guy on that roster. The Pacers get Russell Westbrook and a 2027 first for Buddy Hield. LA could have gotten Buddy, but they chose Russ instead 2 years ago. This fixes the original mistake and adds that shooting. Yes, they still trade a draft pick, but that's what it takes to move Russ. The Pacers are rebuilding around Tyrese Halliburton, and they missed out on DeAndre Ayton. So, instead they use this cap space to get a really valuable future Lakers pick. After Russ gets there, they negotiate a buyout, and he finds another team. Buddy Hield is under contract for 2 more seasons on a team-friendly deal. LA would both save a ton of cap space, and they get a 43% three-point shooter. The only other player they have is like Miles Turner. That doesn't make sense because they got Thomas Bryant already. Another option is a trade to the Houston Rockets for Eric Gordon, who is also a good shooter, and the Rockets are in the market for draft picks.
Oh my God.
The Celtics were a huge winner this offseason. Not only did they get Malcolm Brogdon, who was perfect for them, they also got Danilo Gallinari, who was really in demand as a free agent after the Atlanta Hawks traded him. For some dumb reason, I did not include them in my offseason winners and losers, but we did go over basically every other team. So who got better and who got worse this offseason? Check it out.
Okay, great video. Steve Mash. No, I don't know who bro look like, but great video, man. I don't know if I would rather have Buddy Hield or Eric Gordon. I definitely wouldn't want Eric Gordon over Westbrook. Like, I get it, we need shooting. So Buddy Hield and Eric Gordon are 2 people that are better shooters than Russell Westbrook. But I still don't think that I would rather have neither one of them. And I also heard that whole Buddy Hield, Russell Westbrook trade was dead. I heard that like yesterday. But I appreciate y'all for watching this video. Make sure y'all subscribe to the channel if y'all haven't already. Make sure y'all like this video if y'all like this video. And go ahead and write something in the comments. Let me know how y'all feel about Westbrook and the Lakers organization. But I appreciate y'all like always. We out.